Help come on in. Crystal's here, let's begin. No time for that fake stuff. Diamond in the rough, we dive in. Nose wide. Real talk, hit it hard. Opinions raw and real. Crime talk, that's the deal. Crystal's crime conversations. Real talk, no hesitations. Crystal's crime conversations. Fun around raw, all sensations. Welcome, come on in. Fun and raw, all sensations. Let's go. When I step in, the bitches start to clap. Ain't no biting my tongue, ain't no holding back. Showing all my sliders, time to hit the gas. Let's show these hoes how to work with class. I come strutting like a boss. Ain't your chicken heads, no, I got the shit on floss. I ain't hitting no brakes now, there ain't no looking back. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack. Bitches always tryna flex. I ain't got no time to deal with the pussy ass stress. I got my middle fingers up, telling all these haters I don't really give a fuck. I ain't got time for fakes, you motherfuckers are just stupid and fucking lame. I'ma sit on my throne while I laugh at your kinda lame. Y'all a fucking joke, crazy in the head, but you call me insane. I'm the queen in this game, you all just pawns standing in my motherfucking way. Better take a step back, bitch, you hoes really don't know how to act. I'm about to be stacking up the paper, about to be getting my cash. Telling all of you bitches so you know that you kiss my ass. You dirty bitches staying broke, broke, broke. I hit by gas, 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 and you still looking like a joke, joke, joke. You try to step it up to my level, you ain't hoes, no you ain't even close. Your game is weak, and everybody knows. You keep talking all the shit, meanwhile, baby, all I feel is that drip, drip, drip. All you do is trip, trip, trip. Sorry, salty bitches, I got to go. It's time for you to man up. I ain't playing with your crows, you hoes can't keep up. My ass left you in the fire and so filled dust. Bitches, stand up, you got left in the nasty, crusty rust. When I step in, the bitches start to clap. Ain't no biting my tongue, ain't no holding back. Showing all my sliders, time to hit the gas. Let's show these hoes how to work with class. I come straight like a boss. Ain't your chicken heads, no, I got the shit on floss. I ain't hitting no brakes now, there ain't no looking back. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack. When I step in, the bitches start to clap. Ain't no biting my tongue, ain't no holding back. Showing all my sliders, time to hit the gas. Let's show these hoes how to work with class. I come straight like a boss. Ain't your chicken heads, no, I got the shit on floss. I ain't hitting no brakes now, there ain't no looking back. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack.
Guys, so I told you all that I was going to go through the J is for Justice live and cut the next part out I thought was relevant. However, I didn't realize it was going to be the first 3 minutes that I would listen further, that I would hear something that rings bells to me, and I'm very curious because where does ICU say she's from? Does anybody know what state ICU is from? Because I don't. I'm curious. Is she from Tennessee? So I'm going to start today. I'm a little out of order at the top here. I'm going to start right here. I want you to get a really good listen to the first 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
2 people backstage. Chris, I see you. If you want to turn off your cam, I mean, you can keep it on if you want. I'm just letting you know I'm going to add you to the stream if you wanted to turn it off. So here's Chris. And then Anne. We've got Anne. And then we've got Arkansas missing his back. Okay, can you guys all hear?
Hello, Chris. Hello, Ann.
Yep, we're all here now.
You guys are going to have to unmute yourselves to say hi. I think Anne and... Okay. Chris, there's Chris. She's back. Hi, Chris.
Can y'all hear me okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you good. Okay, welcome, Chris and Ann. I just wanted to add you guys to the panel. Go ahead. Go ahead with what you were saying, Joey. Joey, that's your name, right? I can't hear him. I think he's cut out again.
You lost Joey.
Yeah, I can't hear Joey. Okay, so what's up, Chris? Are you a local?
I live in Louisville right now, but I grew up in Harlan County in the area. It's right on the border of Tennessee and Virginia, so I know that area pretty well. I was just wanting to know if they had checked any of the silicon mines or the old mine shaft, maybe the marble quarries or anything like that.
I have not heard. John, have you?
No. As far
We
as
do not have those kind of things in this area.
Oh, you don't?
We don't have, we have coal mines, but they're kind of more towards Kentucky. In Beach Creek, there's not going to be any coal mines or silicon mines or anything like that.
I think there's one in Rogersville, silicon mine.
Ooh, someone needs to change their...
So maybe I heard that wrong. That time listening to it on StreamYard, it sounds like she says there's one in Rogersville. At first, thought I heard her say Millersville. However, even if not, we're going to go over some Millersville shit tonight. But let's look up, since I'm hearing it differently through StreamYard, sometimes it changes the audio. And I think I hear something and it sounds another way. Okay. Silk Mine, Rogersville, Tennessee. Top mines in Hawkins County. Doherty Quarry, Cow Quarry, Stamp Star Quarry, McClure Quarry, Fudge Quarry, Stamps Quarry, Price Quarry, and Evans Quarry. So there is Mooresburg, Bean Station. It's telling you the nearest cities to it. The Evans Quarry is Mooresburg, Bean Station, Bulls Gap, Hillcrest, Tennessee, Haveley Springs. Price Quarry is Mooresburg, Rogersville, Bulls Gap, Bean Station, Sneedville. Stamps Quarry is Mooresburg, Bean Station, Bulls Gap, Rogersville, Hillcrest. Fudge Quarry is Mooresburg, Bean Station, the nearest cities. Mooresburg, Bean Station, Rogersville, Sneedville, they're all the same. Up here, Stamp Star Quarry is Mooresburg, Bean Station, Bulls Gap. They're all pretty much the same. So there is a lot of mines. Let me come back to chat here. In that area. However, I thought that said something else and it led me to look up. Hey, little Dev, how are you this afternoon? It led me to look up some interesting stuff. Let me close down some of the stuff I have here. Ooh. I was wrong. I'm glad I fixed it my very first few minutes of my live and heard it different. But it doesn't matter because I think this is important to Tennessee. I want you to remember where this murder billboard stuff started at, okay? Oh shit, I just closed that down. I told you guys yesterday I was going to go back over these comments. I think they're almost in order, but they're not. I'm just going to read them. They're between me and Chasing Justice 956, who was on the Fake Fed live. Tiffany Marie and them were talking about. I believe she came up shortly, maybe not. I can't remember. It was a long live. But these are some correspondence between us on her community post. You guys watched me put the first one the other day, which was you can take the link and prove who you are. That is not an issue. I mean, TM called you Kelly, not me. I'm just reviewing her live, and she's making pretty big claims about you. So is Penny and Linda. So I would think it's up to you to correct. She put, well, I never seen comments in your chat. I've seen comments in your chat in all caps. Seems a little demanding to me. As far as Penny knows, she wasn't making claims about me. Linda doesn't know me. She knows of me through Lisa Key because I was the first creator to cover Aaron's case. And I put a lot of work behind the scenes on that. So she's the first creator to cover Lisa Key's case. I want you to keep in mind something we're going to read in the last part of this, I believe. There's so much more to everything than you know. But no, I am absolutely not Kelly Fustos, nor does my voice sound anything like hers. Two completely different people. So I respond. The caps are for people like Ziggy and Linda, not to mention I usually leave caps on and apologize all the time for it. I don't intend on attacking someone I do not know or ever heard of. And the fact that you spoke to Lisa Key is amazing to me. Linda has put me through hell, and I've been covering it for 2 years on my channel. I would love for you to come tell the story because to me it seems as though she forced herself into Lisa Key's situation as well. Why? Then I write, I'm curious, did you happen to watch the review of TM's Fake Feds? If not, I think these are the ones that are out of place. If not, you probably should. I said all of that in my live. I also said last night, you said you wasn't Fustos, but you already cleared up so much in these comments telling me where you came from. I took screenshots. If it's okay, I'm going to share these comments. I think that is important. And then I think this was supposed to go in place of the other one. I'm not demanding. It's always your choice. I'm just asking for people to clear up some of the crap. I love how people say I'm demanding. That ain't it at all. Lots deny things after putting me through hell, literally. I always offer my link for anyone that has an issue with what I am saying because it's only fair that people can defend themselves. I just want to know the whole backstory. I never heard of you until this live. Here's where I'm confused. So she's the first to cover Lisa K's story. That's how she meets Linda. However, she has a friendship at the beginning of Summer's case, it sounds like, with Tiffany Marie. So were they friends prior? Did Tiffany know? Like, why didn't Tiffany know about? I'm just very confused by this. What you don't know is the live you're talking about was done right after Tiffany and I had a falling out and ended our friendship. In case you haven't noticed, she talks shit about everyone. I was there in her chat during the live, and I know exactly what was said. There are a lot of people on this earth that have the same first name. I've never had anything to do with Summer's case, nor do I need to prove myself to anyone. I'm not in the true crime community anymore. I'm happy to shed some light on something, but I don't answer to demands that I show myself to prove who I am or who I'm not. My picture is all over my channel, and that is the best I can offer. I don't understand if you're showing your picture all over your channel why you have a problem showing your face. I could show my picture. It's right here in the corner of my screen. However, I still get on here with my face and show my mouth talking so that you can see that's me and it matches my pictures. I don't quite understand why is that the best you have to offer. Anybody can take any picture from online and pretend to be somebody else. Do you understand that? I've never heard Kelly Fusto's voice. Oh yeah, I did on Tiffany's. We have to go back over that, even though I gotta clip it. I gotta get the voice in the different channels that Tiffany said she ran. I want to match it and see if the Chasing Justice is in it. That was the first live we went over with Tiffany. Oh, was I not sharing the right screen? Hold on, guys. This is the screen I meant to share, and these are the comments between myself and Chasing Justice. And I truly am not trying to be rude. Hey, Ghost, how are you today? I'm truly not trying to be rude to Chasing Justice. I think it would be great if she could clear up some information. Like, how does Lisa Key come to YouTube and you're following her and then she introduces you to Linda? I would like to know if Lisa Key would be willing to come up on my panel and also clear some things up. You know, it isn't an attack. It's just trying to unravel. And this creator, as far as I know, has personally never done anything to me. I don't even think I've heard of them. I might have, but just don't remember. You know, nobody who was extremely important to me. Napping and hopping around lives because all the trills seem to be live at the same time. Oh, I didn't realize anybody else was live. I'm sorry. I had planned to go live at 2. I was actually going to try to come at 1:30, but my son had to go get his wife from work and do some running around, and he came pick the kids up and he's doing more running around. So Daybell and Diddy just seen you on, so I hit that thumbs. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to that. I should be, but I've been distracted. My mind just ain't in all the true crime. Okay, but anyway, so I wanted to go over that because what that's going to lead me to is this Lisa K is from Cookeville. Okay? I feel like I ate salad. I feel like I got something in what's left of my teeth. Fuck all of you. We looked at the mines. I can close that down. We're done with this for today, I believe. Hold on. So, Cookeville to Millersville is 1 hour and 43 minutes away. Okay? This is where whatever happened to Lisa Key's son, it happened in this area right here. Okay? It's pretty distant. It's not exactly next to each other, but it's not exactly far either. You know? I'm sorry. This is the area something happened to Lisa Key's son in. However, 1 hour and 47 minutes away is Millerstown. And it's West Tennessee, and there's a lot of stuff going on over there as far as legal proceedings go with their politics. I don't know if anybody's been following it, there's two different things going on, and I think that there's a possibility that they may connect. So the first one I'm going to show you is what's going on with religion and far right people. Okay, then we're going to move on to Millersville, where there's an assistant police chief who's been in all kinds of trouble. But what I want to show you is last night before I ended my live, when Evil Entered was posting some of the propaganda conspiracy shit on a channel that seemed very similar to what's going on here. And she didn't give no back detail, and I want to know what your thoughts are, because to me it's like QAnon shit, you know, and that's how they're approaching it on news broadcasts. But I think that I want to start with what's going on with Christians and far right people in that area as well, at the same time as what's going on at the Millersville Police Department. The real courts are not like that at all, not in my area. Just saying, all those court channels are for entertainment, educational content. I haven't been watching the trials. Yeah, I've been getting a little bored with long crime and stuff too. I'm really just trying to think of different paths to go down in Summer's case and try to connect where these people come from and start. Now that I think I'm okay to do so, at least a little bit. This was all public information, you know, but what else? Well, no, we'll do that after. Okay, so what I want to do is start with When Evil Enters. It's a short 59 seconds from yesterday, and it comes from a God channel.
Our audience may or may not know, we've been police department there execute some warrants that have been.
I'm sorry, guys. You got my big face, my missing tooth, huh? Fuck. I apologize. Okay, let me play this. This is When Evil Entered posted yesterday. So she's sharing this.
As our audience may or may not know, we've been sitting on a mountain of intelligence for child sex trafficking that's been happening in Tennessee. And it involves some very high profile people. And on the advice of our attorney, we're not going to release that until a certain police department there executes some warrants that have been given to them by judges, but they haven't actually executed them. But the evidence we've seen is pretty brutal as far as child sex trafficking in Tennessee is concerned. So when you have a TDA member arrested in Tennessee, chances are really, really high that they're involved in child sex trafficking, also because it's their number one revenue generator, which Victor Avila shared with us. The next piece,
the TDA
serious question, Jeff, and you know, forgive me for saying this.
I think I hear
how come every single one of these men in particular, like?
Okay, hold on. So that was on When Evil Entered channel. Now, this town is not for them. Residents react to white Christian nationalists moving to Tennessee is the name of this. I thought I had another. I'm going to have to go search my history in a minute because I had another news broadcast up. I don't know where the hell it went. So I'll go find that. But I want you to listen to this and let me turn it down because it's extremely loud here. Okay.
Our community. Good evening to you. Not in our town. That's the reaction from some Jackson County residents regarding efforts by out-of-state Christian nationalists to potentially remake their community. Good evening to you. I'm Carrie Sharp.
And I'm Rory Johnston. Our chief investigative reporter, Phil Williams, first broke this story last week about the efforts to, quote, build a town in the county seat of Gainesboro. And that shocked the people who already live there.
After giving residents time to digest this news, Phil went back to town about 90 minutes northeast of Nashville, this time to listen to the people of Jackson County.
How are you? I'm good. How are you? As word had spread across Jackson County, a gathering of friends quickly turned into an impromptu town hall.
Hey there. Hi.
Some just came with questions.
Do you want to sit there and I'm here for a little too?
Others with deep concerns.
We don't want one news story to portray something of Jackson County that we're not.
Their concerns.
We're building a town, right? We're building a community there.
The white Christian nationalists, led by podcasters Andrew Isker and CJ Engel, now setting their sights on Jackson County and the county seat of Gainesboro, hoping to turn this quaint community of just over 12,000 people into a political haven for others like themselves.
Did anyone have any sense about these people prior to this story?
Among those we met, some had deep roots.
My family's been here for 7 generations.
Others were drawn here by the openness of the people they now call neighbors.
This town is such a loving group of people. I am accepted, even though I came from outside.
And we were there to listen.
What has this story done to this community's sense of well-being?
I think mainly people are scared.
Diane Murphy is vice chair of the local Republican Party.
I listen to the podcasts. I did the research on what you mentioned. It scares me that they are very clear about taking over.
Developers with right-wing ties have purchased hundreds of acres of land in the area, trying to recruit other like-minded people to join Isker and Engel in relocating to Gainesboro. In a video posted online by one of the developers, Isker talks about the ability of those people to get their way in a small community.
Right, you can exercise far more political power, even with a few hundred or a few thousand people, than you can on your own, widely dispersed across the entire country.
When you hear them talking about coming here to build a town, to build a community, what's your reaction?
I'd love to speak to that. That makes me mad.
Diana Manley owns a local restaurant, and she sees a community that's remaking itself without the help of strangers from out of state who don't understand what Jackson County already has.
People from all different walks of life, genealogies, nationalities, race, you name it. We have got a melting pot right here in this small town, all working together to make this town come back to life.
What is it you're afraid of losing?
I don't want to lose what we already have. The sense of community.
It is a very welcoming community, but I think they kind of came in under the radar and want to recreate it in their own image.
Forgive the background noise. I'm actually here at a watch party with the Jackson County GOP.
On election night, the podcasters monitored the results from Gainesboro, with the real estate developer behind the project, Josh Abatoy, doing a live report from a local watch party that he had hosted. One of their podcast buddies also set up an account on X, formerly Twitter, that claimed to represent the views of the local Republican Party.
It said it was the official account of the Jackson County GOP.
But it was not.
Party Chair Bo Smith learned about the account from News Channel 5 Investigates. We also showed him where Engel had tweeted that the best way forward for Christian nationalists is to take over local level outlets of the Republican Party.
So that's not going to happen, especially now due to your reporting. We're thankful for that. And, knowing these people are in our community is a big deal.
Have these Christian nationalist podcasters, these developers, tried to have a meeting like this to sit down and answer your questions?
There's wolf in sheep's clothing.
But what really concerned these Jackson County residents, some who were reluctant for their faces to be on camera, are the podcasters' views that the civil rights movement was a mistake, that foreigners who've become U.S. citizens still don't belong in America. What is it you would like for these people coming in from out of state to know? What message would you have for these people?
This town is not for them.
Bigotry's not one.
No, it's not them.
We are not that community, and we don't want to be a part of a racial hate community.
God made men to rule, period.
Then there are their views on women and how they detest the specific impact of college-educated white women on the culture of the world they see around them.
The white women on Facebook that you're referring to, they're probably the scariest thing that these guys are going to have to deal with now.
What I saw and heard on this day is that if the Christian nationalists think Gainesboro and Jackson County is a place where people all think like them, they don't know Jackson County.
These people's views do not represent our community. And if they think they're going to come in here and take over and force their views on everybody else, they're going to have a fight on their hands.
Bill Williams, News Channel 5 Investigates.
So who are these Christian nationalists and why are their views so controversial? If you missed Phil's original investigation, you can watch it right now at newschannel5.com and all of our streaming apps.
News Channel 5 Investigates special report reveals the Christian nationalists who want to turn a small Middle Tennessee community into their base of operations, hoping to attract others from around the country. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Hunter Hoagland. They are a group who says they want to go back to an America before the civil rights movement. Their desire is to deport legal immigrants even if they became U.S. citizens decades ago.
And they want to put women back to where they think they belong. Our chief investigative reporter, Phil Williams, has been investigating this effort for 3 months. And Phil, you found that longtime residents didn't even know this was happening.
That is precisely the case. This has very much been developing under the radar. In many ways, the views of some of these people are not so different from the white supremacists we've seen marching down Nashville streets in the past year, although they dress up their ideas with intellectual buzzwords and call it Christian. And they hope that about 90 minutes northeast of Nashville, tiny Jackson County will welcome their controversial ideas of what it means to be an American. For the Christian nationalists setting their sights on Jackson County, Tennessee, picturesque scenes like this represent what they call Heritage America. It's a notion reflected in the Norman Rockwell images they post on social media of hardworking white people, especially white men.
We're building a town. We're building a community there.
Leading the way are podcasters Andrew Isker, a right-wing pastor from Minnesota, and CJ Engel, who recently moved to the area from Northern California.
Like all of our heroes were way more racist than we're allowed to be today.
Together, the pair host what they bill as the #1 Christian nationalist podcast in the world.
God made men to rule, period. That's the world God made. If you don't like it, take it up with him.
And here in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Isker and Engel hope to make a new home in a place where most everybody looks like them and thinks like them.
Yes, the question is there room for like-minded Christians and patriots in Tennessee? Yes, there's an imperative for like-minded Christians to gather and fight with us. Like, we need Christian nationalism in one state. Like, that's what we need.
After first announcing a project here along the Cumberland River in southern Kentucky near the small town of Burkesville, the developers behind the plan recently announced their move into Jackson County. Here along the line with Macon County, one of the developers has bought up 500 acres in these rolling Tennessee hills. It's not clear exactly what he intends to do with all this land. But just a few minutes down that same road, just across from the Jackson County High School, a separate business entity has purchased another 100 acres that they are apparently planning to develop. And they've announced that Gainsboro, the Jackson County seat, will be the focus of their efforts to resettle like-minded people from around the country.
From what I can tell, they're Christian nationalists, and I wouldn't hesitate to say white Christian nationalists.
Pastor Kevin Riggs has been sounding the alarm about the rise of Christian nationalism in Middle Tennessee for years, including Gabrielle Hanson's unsuccessful campaign for mayor last year in affluent Franklin, Tennessee.
You said it borders on Christian Sharia law.
A Christianized type of Sharia law where everybody, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, it doesn't matter if you're an atheist, it doesn't matter if you're a Buddhist, it doesn't matter what, you're going to be forced to live by this narrow interpretation of Christian principles.
Having Christian nations on American soil, yep, that's ours too. We'll take it, right? That, like, restoring American identity, right? American, like, heritage American identity, that's good.
As Isker and Ingle see it, the only people who have a legitimate right to a homeland here in the U.S. are those so-called heritage Americans, like the ones depicted in those Norman Rockwell images from the past.
I would imagine in most of those Norman Rockwell pictures, there aren't any depictions of people who look like me.
We showed Nashville pastor Chris Williamson some of Isker and Ingle's own words, in which Ingle says his concept of heritage America affirms the domination and preeminence of European-derived peoples, their institutions, and their way of life, although he adds that his term also includes the blacks of the Old South.
According to them, if you're a descendant of slaves, you get to stay.
So they're defining my legacy, my entire legacy, really on slavery. I get to stay, even though I was brought here against my will and treated horribly through chattel slavery for nearly 250 years, but that's my heritage.
Even then, Ingle writes that his acceptance of black Americans is on the condition that they don't try to leverage their experience for the purposes of political guilt.
Because really, you want to keep me in that place of inferior status with you. I'm okay as long as I stay in line and accept how you define me. But these days of white men defining black people, they're not happening anymore.
I'm not going to debate the meaning of America with those that seek its destruction.
The two Christian nationalists denounced the efforts of civil rights leader Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement in general, with Ingle saying you cannot have both MLK and Heritage America, and Isker declaring we should turn civil rights back to the states. They celebrate images of whites-only diners in the 50s, with Ingle proclaiming the 1960s ruined everything, and they mock historical incidents like the kidnapping and lynching of 14-year-old Emmett Till. Yet they dismiss any criticism as people taking them too seriously.
So too are Isker's objections to the Civil Rights Act, his dismissiveness of the Emmett Till murder, and the broader racial views. Yeah. Well, that's funny. That's funny because that whole controversy was like entirely a meme controversy.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, come on, man. Like, Anyway.
Yeah. You get in trouble for having fun.
You have done nothing but disguised white supremacy in the guise of Christian nationalism. So call it what it is. It's white supremacy. It's not nothing Christian about it.
Earlier this year, Ingle, to mark the beginning of Black History Month, responded with his own celebration of Heritage History Month, holding up white supremacist thinker Sam Francis for praise. Among his writings, Francis suggested that if whites wanted to do so, they could dictate a solution to the racial problem tomorrow by imposing
Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy who was abducted, badly beaten, and killed in Mississippi in August of 1955. Till lived in Chicago, but was visiting family in Mississippi, which was a racially segregated state with a history of violence against black people. While Till was in Mississippi, he was accused of whistling at a white woman. The woman told her husband, Roy Bryant, who was enraged. Roy and his half-brother J.W. went looking for Till. Till's body was found 3 days later in the Tallahatchie River. He had been beaten and shot. His body was returned to Chicago for an open casket memorial. Tens of thousands of mourners attended. Roy and J.W. stood trial for murder, but were found not guilty. A year later, the two men confessed to a magazine that they killed Emmett, but the case wasn't reopened. Decades later, Roy's wife admitted that Emmett never harassed her in the first place. Who was Emmett Till? Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy who was abducted, badly
celebration of Heritage History Month, holding up white supremacist thinker Sam Francis for praise. Among his writings, Francis suggested that if whites wanted to do so, they could dictate a solution to the racial problem tomorrow by imposing fertility controls on non-whites.
It's repulsive that people would think of me.
So this religion that wants to move all over Tennessee, buy all the land, wants to control Black women from not having children for Black population control. What do y'all think of that? They're trying to buy all these acres of land.
And people who look like me in such degrading ways.
And yet they claim to be Christian nationalists.
Keyword is claim.
You know, part of this is coming out of fear because we're moving closer and closer to that day where the white European Christian is the minority or the new minority when you add up all the other minorities. So they're losing power and they're trying to stop that as well.
In fact, their rhetoric...
They do hate us. They hate white Christian men, period. End of story.
...is reminiscent of this scene. Where neo-Nazis took to the streets of Nashville earlier this year.
If you
the Nashville area, Putnam, Jackson County, all those areas, all in that area is going on. Where Sebastian's missing. We've had quite a few people from Nashville inserting themselves in the Summers case. I am not in agreement with what's going on here. This is ignorance at its finest. And when they say there's the far left that wears the vaginas on their heads and all that, I believe that too. Way too far leftist. But at some point, it seems to me as if they all meet in the middle somewhere and do this crazy sick shit, and they want to bring racism back. They're sitting here on a news broadcast stating that they want to buy up all the fucking land so that they can population control Black people. They agree with the Emmett Till shit. I just showed you who Emmett Till is, and that actually started a lot of riots. Who remembers that? Who was alive then? I've done some research on all that stuff that went down there because my asshole husband, he has a cousin from the Manchester area named Obadiah Sims. And this man wrote a letter from prison. Maybe one day we'll go through it, you know? But this is some sick ass shit. This is some Hitler shit, in my opinion. But let's keep listening, because when evil enters is sharing this propaganda. I just showed you that. However, let's finish this up.
You strip it all down, they're saying the same thing. They're just saying it in a way that may be more acceptable to people. But at the end of the day, it's the same tired ideology of white supremacy.
As Isker and Ingalls see it, this endeavor isn't just about moving to a place where the people look and think like them. They also imagine creating a political force that has an impact on communities like Gainsborough, eventually extending their reach statewide.
if you have towns like ours that we're going to be building, right, where there are a lot of people that are very politically motivated and very well organized, right, you can have as much influence as one of the big cities in Tennessee.
Hello and welcome to Contra Modem. It is election night. It's the big night. Welcome, everyone.
And on election night, the pair hosted a nearly 9-hour podcast from Gainesboro.
Oh, there he is.
No, he's on.
He's on. He's live.
There I am. Hey.
Hello.
Bringing in some of the
It concerns me because Jody reminds me of a far leftist. She keeps making all these political chats, lives over there and deleting them. But did anybody watch the one? She's been having 2 lives. One was about cousin effers. She deleted that. She said she found out there's somebody in Rogersville that's cousin effers that's connected to Summers' case and threatening people. But the other one was about she thinks it's okay for children underage for their parents to allow them to get sex changes. That's what Jody's been covering on her channel. Listen, people, you could have your own damn opinion, but in my personal opinion, and I'm allowed to it, I don't believe that anybody under the age of 18 is old enough to make that decision. First, the fuck off, teenagers look up cerebellum, okay? They go through depression. Their brains aren't formally developed. They haven't gotten all their cerebellum. Okay, they're missing some, and they can't think properly. I don't think it's fair for parents to just go and say, hey, yeah, let's fix you down there and make you a girl, or let's give you some boobs. That's not up to you. That's where I am with religion, too. I allow my children to decide their religion. I don't believe that's up to me to decide. I just feel there's something wrong with that shit. And here's Jody with her video. Don't wear perfume. We're going through the woods. And you got people like this running around fucking Tennessee. YouTube creators sharing the fucking propaganda. I think it's absolutely disgusting. And I feel as if Jody Sue is a far leftist. The way she talks, and she was up there for Black Lives Matters people, which I don't think she was. I think she's just one of them dildos that wears a fucking vagina on her fucking head. What in the motherfuck is going on in Tennessee? Is this going on in other states? I'm kind of worried about the fucking little town I grew up in, knowing that there's connections and who my family connections are. However, I don't think that my KKK cousins would be involved in any of this shit. They're just a little too hard for that shit. Okay? They ride the mopeds. And this shit here is fucking insane, in my opinion. All of it. And this is what's going on in Tennessee. And we didn't even get to the good shit yet.
biggest names from the Christian nationalist community.
This is Charles's moment. Charles, welcome to the 2024 election.
With one suggesting that Donald Trump's strong showing.
I mean, if he does that, then, Red Caesar, mandate from heaven, rock and roll, let's go.
Might clear the way for the authoritarian Red Caesar they hope will rise.
I don't want to be a gloom and doom type person. My hope is still in Christ.
No, wait a minute, because I do sound cruel, right? I sound like I'm against gay people or whatever, and that's not my intention. I think therapy, to make sure that that's how the child feels. And then when the child reaches the age of 18, they can decide if mentally they're ready and prepared. And I think they should go through psychology reports, because even as an adult, anybody follow the Jenners? Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner. After he had his change, he didn't want it no more. He still has it. He's done well with it, but he embarrassed himself, in my opinion. It mentally fucked him up. And even as an adult, it messed with him. It caused harm to their family. I just think there should be a lot of therapy, and, you know, like, I'm not against somebody who wants that sort of thing in their life, but when you are promoting that for children, babies, that to me is fucking disgusting. Like, I allowed my daughter to go to the gay parades when she wanted to, when she was younger, and she supported that shit. She told me for a little bit that she thought she was bi, and I let her go with it. And you know what happened? She got older, she turned into an adult, and she's with a dude now. I don't know if she'll do that shit again, but I'm not going to hate on my child for it. However, I'm not going to go fucking grow her a dick. Yes, Mother, you can have a link. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Anybody who wants a link. But let me finish this while you grab the link.
But what I see on a practical level scares me if this kind of thing just keeps growing and takes root in our country.
As for what these Christian nationalists hope to plant here amid the beauty of rural Middle Tennessee, these pastors say what they see is not American, nor is it Christian.
So when I hear people talk about Jesus and their Jesus does not invite people to the table of grace, when their Jesus excludes people, they're not preaching the gospel of Jesus. That's something else. I don't recognize that. And I don't want that kind of Jesus leading our nation.
And that's not all. Among their other controversial views, they say they, quote, hate democracy. They're rooting for a Protestant dictator, and they think God made men to rule over women, that men are supposed to teach their women what to think, that it was a mistake to let women vote. And among the worst influences on America today, in their words, are college-educated white women.
Wow. I know you tried to get the two of them to sit down with you, get their side on camera, but it appears they weren't interested.
No, not at all. Both of them responded with defiant statements, essentially saying that Donald Trump's election shows that the media doesn't matter anymore. C.J. Ingalls says his views are motivated by his understanding of American history and what he calls his love of country. We've got their full statements at News Channel 5. You know, let people look at them and decide for themselves.
Perhaps his misunderstanding, we should say. We know you'll be watching them.
Absolutely. I think there's more to come.
Hey, Mother, how are you?
Good. Did you hear about that? It's called. It's in Hawkins County. It's a micronation. I want to keep calling it New Hope, but it ain't New Hope. Anyways, they purchased 60 acres of land in Stanley Valley, Tennessee, in Hawkins County. And
in Hawkins?
Huh? Yeah, in Hawkins County.
There's a lot of land sales taking place in Washington and Greene County. It's not just Hawkins.
It's like New World Nation or something.
Huh?
The place is called New World Nation or something like that. And what it is going to be like a community that the government has no control over, kind of like Waco, Texas.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look more into this because I'm just learning. Like, I did watch a lot of this stuff 8, 9, 10 months ago, but I didn't really forget about it. I just put it on the back burner with everything going on. And when we brought Lisa Kay up from Tiffany's Fake Feds video, and I seen what area this was going on in, and that Linda was over there playing fuck shit in the billboards, it reminded me how close, or even in the middle to Rogersville. We can look that up another time because I plan on going over this with.
Because I looked into it and read about it, and they're going to be charging like $10,000 to move your family and stuff into this place, and it's like you have to give your money to them to keep up, the nation. It's kind of like it's its own government. And people in Hawkins,
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, people in Hawkins County are trying to fight against it, but it's supposed to be like this, like a cult, like a utopia. And I was reading into it. It was like really weird. I was like, okay.
Another thing is too is Ryan Finds Truth had a live, and I'll have to go look for it. He hasn't struck me, so maybe he's now allowing his content to be shared. But he did another live where he was going over the land sales, and then I believe it was a third live where he went to some strange compound above Summer Will's home. Did any of you see that?
Yeah, I don't think that land is far from Ben Hill Road that was purchased.
No, it wasn't. And here's another thing. Jody went apeshit when he shared that. So, and it brought out some stuff about these kids or something that were getting changes to their blows, you know?
I'm wondering if that didn't have, because when, you know, if you go back and try to find when that was purchased, or when it was even started to be planned to be purchased, like, did that have something to do with, you know, Summer going missing? It's weird. It's going to be like a Christian thing. And
it is a Christian thing, and I'm confused about Robin's. This is why sometimes I question Robin. There's been some very funny things in Florida. You know, Ryan goes to Florida to search this playground for missing Summer, right? He's stalking other children. But also in Florida is the awakened people. And if you go to Facebook, I'll have to go through my Canva. I should have it. I've shared it on my community posts. There are pictures of Robin going into the lamplight with Timmy Ethron and with the people from Awakened. And that disturbs me. It disturbs me that she's playing two religions, and I don't know why. Now, I get it. A lot of people are just really religious, but when you throw Jackhammer into the fold and the vigils and all that other shit, and you see TT there who searched for Summer on horse, who connects to Linda, who's connecting to a closer portion of this area where all this crazy shit's going on with religion and politics.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in this Millersville area, and I'm going to show you it. There's a crooked assistant. I think he's an assistant chief, and he's going on these channels, these white supremacist channels, and pushing narratives that there's all these crazy conspiracies going on, and it's causing a lot of problems. However, during all this, there's people being predator hunters like Ernie.
They also have this thing called a golden.
But they're ruining the cases by doing so. And then there's a lot of shit with banks.
Yeah, they have this thing called a golden ticket. And if you purchase one of them golden tickets, you'll forever have a place in this utopia or whatever, this micronation. And it's kind of like a pyramid scheme. It's kind of like a Christian cult to me from what I read about it.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Winged, how are you? Definitely worth looking into. I will do that.
Will you put your email in chat and I can send you articles on it?
Yeah, you don't have my email already? I recognize your voice. I know who you are.
Oh, yeah, but I don't really like doing emails, so I've never really used it. But I used
know.
to use it.
I'm on Facebook now. They won't allow me on Facebook no more, so... You can only, I'm really bad at my emails, guys. I need to create a new email page.
I've wondered why you haven't just created a new Facebook.
I've tried. They blocked my whole computer, my IP address. It won't let me. I'm going to have to go to a library and try. I'm going to have to drop me off one day and go. I keep promising my granddaughter we're going to go, and we end up not going. And it's right up the street. I'm just being lazy about it.
Oh. Okay, well, I just wanted you to know about that, and you can look into it. There was a news article not too long ago on it from Hawkins County.
Yeah, I will definitely go back. What did you call it again? I'm going to write it down.
It's in your chat. I want to keep calling it New Hope, but I think it's New World Coalition, and it's a micronation.
Yeah, definitely something I'll research.
In Hawkins County on Stanley Valley Road. They purchased 60 acres.
I wonder if any of my family owns anything on there. Is that Stanley Valley Road the one that's right by Light Hauler?
I'm guessing. I don't know. I looked into it a couple weeks ago. I can't remember anything. But I know they both from it's
Where
like
Brian was putting all kinds of shit out when he was covering my shit, sort of.
I think it's like 20 minutes from Ben Hill Road. Maybe a little more. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not the Light Hauler Road, but Light Road, where Andy and Ryan went and drove up, and they were like, "Oh, my family's here, but don't fuck with them. They're part of the whatever." And
Yeah, I'm not sure. You'll have to look into it because, like I said, I don't remember everything I read. But was trying to find out when their plan first started to purchase that, because I'm thinking, could that have something to do with someone going missing? I mean, was she their golden ticket? Like, if her family had anything to do with it, was she their golden ticket into getting into this micronation where, they don't have to follow the laws of the government, but their own laws, stuff like that.
Solvertine. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know a little bit about that. The Solverton citizens. Oh yeah, they think they have no laws, no rules. They could just do what the
Right,
hell ever they
and what a better place to go if you know, with everything that is alleged Don did in his life and the laws he broke and the things that Candace has done in her life and, walked away from her children or gave them up to the government, whatever. Who's to say they didn't trade her for one of their golden tickets? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, anything's possible, but I feel like
I mean, I'm not sure that that's what happened, but
I'm just very curious about Robin.
yeah.
Could Robin be one of them people? And I'm just speculating here. It's not truth. But could Robin be one of them people that wanted to save Summer because she loves Summer? TT strikes me of one of these Underground Railroad people, and I'm speculating. But so does Jamie, the whole QAnon shit. Like, it's fucking really crazy the way I feel about those people when I research them, and they all connect to the area and the people of the lady that sued me 5 fucking times
Do you remember Carl, the one creator that Benny got in a fight with? Carl, what's Enchanted Light Path?
Yeah, but then they became good friends.
And he had a thing on up about how Robin might be part of
Oh yeah, the whole lighthouse or whatever it's called.
no, she might be part of Waco, Texas. Like she might have been related to him or his daughter or something.
Oh damn. I'll have to check that out. That's sort of conspiracy theory to me.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy. I've looked into it. Haven't found any evidence of that, but that don't mean it ain't there and he didn't find it. I mean,
Guys, thank you, honey.
But I'm gonna jump down. I just wanted you to know about that.
All right, I'm gonna move on here. We're gonna move on to what's going on in Millersville here.
Okay.
All right, thank you for coming up.
And
give me that info. I wrote it down. I'm gonna look more into it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
This tab. No, thank you. Okay, what is this? Okay, I don't know what that is. I think I have that up by accident. Okay, so here we go into the murder billboard. I'm going to share this again with you guys because this is where we discovered Lisa Kay from, and this Kelly Chasing Justice, who says she's not Fustos, who wanted to file a lawsuit on Benny Keys, who also was behind the scenes with Linda.
Tonight,
news story about a murder bill.
Unsolved cases. And the citizens of that county are fed up.
If he would have been going the speed limit, my son would be alive. He said, well, what do you want me to do? Give him a speeding ticket? I said, well, she is a known dealer. You know this. Why won't you do something?
Well, I'm not going to do anything about these. They were here before my shift. And that's how he treats his job as district attorney.
All of us here are a member of a club. We shouldn't have to be. There's no reason for us to be if they were doing their jobs.
This is Exploring with the Nug. My name is Jeremy, and there is a story that I want to share with you. I'm sure you guys remember the two teenagers that I found in Sparta, Tennessee. Well, just north of Sparta, Tennessee, there is a town called Cookeville. And Cookeville seems to have a problem with missing persons and people who have been murdered or suicide and stuff, but it seems like they're not getting the justice that they deserve or the attention that they deserve. So I wanted to put this video out to show all of you exactly what's going on in that town. I came across this news story about a murder billboard in Cookeville, Tennessee, and it is really intriguing, very powerful story, and I want to share it with you. Let's watch that together right now, and then we'll talk about it later on.
The cases are all different. They spread out over decades, but they have something in common. They have a connection to District Attorney Brian Dunaway and the accusation that he has failed them.
It was a tough meeting. It's not easy to talk about the worst thing that ever happened to your family.
I can't do it right now.
It's hard to hold back the tears and rage when you feel like you still don't have justice. The family of murder victim Courtney Cash was upset evidence was destroyed instead of collected. They also feel the DA's office was protecting a strong suspect in exchange for his testimony.
We walked in his office. We were not even asked to sit down. And he stood up and he said, Austin Johnson is a victim and a witness. End of story. And we were dismissed.
Ken Young says he was shown the talk to the hand gesture.
I've never been dismissed like that by anybody in my adult life. Ever.
Terry Sullivan died 13 years ago. No one has ever been charged, despite what the family believes is a very strong lead. The family says DA Dunaway gave them a completely unacceptable answer when they asked for a case update.
His response to us was, well, that happened before I was elected. That was it.
Brooke Jolly says that doesn't even make sense. It's not how responsibility works.
I've worked in a restaurant before, and if you're the server that comes in on second shift, you don't look at the tables of customers sitting there and say, well, I'm not going to do anything about these. They were here before my shift. And that's how he treats his job as district attorney.
Jason Rice was hit and killed by a speeding driver who left the scene of the accident. His mom, Rosemary Moore, says she begged DA Dunaway to charge the driver with something.
He wasn't legally drunk. There's really nothing we can do. It was a tragic accident. I said, well, if he was driving without a license, he left the scene. He said, well, leaving the scene is not a crime in the state of Tennessee, to leave the scene of an accident. And I said, well, he was speeding. He was reckless. If he would have been going the speed limit, my son would be alive, 30 miles an hour. He said, well, what do you want me to do? Give him a speeding ticket? They said it was.
Monica Kason's brother, Brandon Hood, died of a drug overdose, but his watch, phone, gold necklace, and shoes were stolen from his body in the apartment where he died.
This one.
Kason wanted the apartment owner, convicted drug dealer Sarah Underwood, to be thoroughly questioned about the overdose and theft. Kason says she couldn't believe what an assistant DA told her.
She won't tell us anything. I said, well, she is a known dealer. You know this. Why won't you do something? Well, she's lawyered up. And?
Kason asked, when does having a lawyer stop an investigation? She admits she was enraged and emotional and threatened to go after Underwood herself. She said that was met with sarcasm.
He looks at me and he says, well, Monica, he said, you've never been in trouble. I believe you're a good candidate for pretrial diversion. What does that say?
We asked District Attorney Bryant Dunaway for responses in each case. He told us he would consider responding if we allowed him to speak unedited. We told him He could respond in an email, and we would put the entire email response online with the story. There are other stories in this room, every bit as heartbreaking, every bit as incomplete, every bit as soul-shattering. They are the stories behind the billboard just off the interstate in Cookeville. The pain behind all of these photos, a deep black hole that can only be filled with justice.
All of us here are a member of a club. We shouldn't have to be. There's no reason for us to be if they were doing their jobs.
Each one of these stories is so compelling, we're going to do complete investigations into each one of them.
What do you guys think about that story? I find that pretty crazy that all of the cases that's going on in that county are surrounded around that district attorney. Now, I've met the guy personally. I met him through the two teenagers that I found in Sparta, Tennessee. Seemed like an upstanding guy, doing his job, well-dressed. That's all I know about him. So I want all of you to do your own research. Together as a community, we can do our own investigations, get to the bottom of it, knock on some doors, shoot some emails, whatever you want to do. Because us as a community, we can do whatever we want as long as we're obeying the laws. And, these political officials, sheriffs, cops, they have rules to follow, and some of them, sadly, don't want to do it. But we can come together and we can irritate them enough to do their job, maybe get the right people on the case, because we all know that there are a lot of amazing people in the official capacity, like the DAs, the cops, the mayors, all these guys that do an amazing job. But there are a handful of them out there that don't want to do their job right, that all they're looking for is winning the next election or making some money or just coasting through life to get to that pension. And sadly, we can't differentiate who they are from the good ones. So that's where we got to do our own investigation, see what we can figure out. Now, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm simply creating this video for awareness because there are a lot of people in that town who are suffering, who want help, who want answers, and they're just not getting it. But there are millions of people out there, and if this video reaches you and you're feeling the need to want to start writing some emails or do your own investigation, by all means, just get online, Google murder billboard, Cookeville, Tennessee, and get your investigation started. If you would like some more information on this story, make sure you go to Fox 17's channel from Nashville. Check out their stories. Maybe reach out to them if you want to talk to them. I'm sure they got a Facebook page. They're going to be covering more and more of these this story in more detail, like a case by case with these missing and murdered people. And I believe they call it the Perrier Files. So look that up. Do your own investigation. Together, we can become something amazing and actually find the answers that they're just not getting. Because some of these cases go back years and years and years, and there's no answers. They've gone cold, and it seems like they've been given up on. All the links to Fox 17 and the Perrier Files I'll put down in the description. They get full credit for this news story. I just wanted to spread their story a little bit further so the families up in Cookeville can get some answers and get some help. There are a few people on that billboard that weren't in this news story, but they're not forgotten. For instance, Josh Bohannon went missing a few months ago under suspicious circumstances, and nothing is really getting done. I don't know how the investigation is going, so I can't definitively say that it's being neglected, but from what I've been hearing, it's not going.
Like I told you guys the first time we covered this, I covered Josh. My prayers still every day go out to his family, and I hope that they get answers. Growing up, my dad ran a 10-acre farm for his friend in Stanley Valley, watching the cattle. And even after I was grown, my dad passed, and my dad's friend recently passed also. That's interesting. Linda, maybe one day we could talk. You might know people from that road. You know anybody with the actual last name Stanley? Any owners? I don't know. Just thoughts. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I was looking up. I have this clip here from a year ago. Hold on. Damn it, I messed it up. I'm trying to get the oldest clips. Did everybody see Becca's Eyes Ducks video? It's so cute. I'm going to show it. I hope she don't mind since I just clicked past it. Before we move on, everybody can get a smile. Come on. Where'd you go? Oh. Hold on. I'm going to show it to my grandson. He'd probably love this. He loved Daisy's little video of her ducks. Hold on. Everybody smile at the ducks. Jojo Becca's eyes are white and the soft eyes. She's pretty new to this and she's helpful. I like ducks, I don't like geese. Geese are scary. They'll attack you. I had to jump on a picnic table one time. Down in Southside with my husband and kids. There was a million of them bitches circling us. I was scared of fuck. That's cute though. Okay, I think that was the first word. It was. We were on a second watch. Okay, so now let's go to Millersville Police Department. Try to find the oldest video we could find. Here's one from a year ago. Here's a couple from a year ago. Millersville conspiracy cop says he has 2 critics under investigation. Okay.
Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. First, he went after the former mayor of Millersville.
Now the town's assistant police chief says his 2 critics on the city commission could be next. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. Millersville's so-called conspiracy cop made those comments as he turned to a group of far-right podcasters to defend himself against questions raised by News Channel 5 Investigates.
Our chief investigative reporter, Phil Williams, has been monitoring those new interviews.
In the interview, Sean Taylor portrays himself as a victim and leaves the impression without evidence that his investigation of Millersville city officials is somehow linked to child sex trafficking.
This is Christian Gomez with the New American Magazine, and I'm joined today with Sean Taylor.
The latest interview with a podcast associated with the far-right John Birch Society.
Thank you for joining us today here at the New American.
No fear.
Thank you for having me. I do appreciate it.
Comes a month after the arrest of former Millersville Mayor Tim Lassiter.
Actually, you arrested the former mayor of Millersville regarding building permits. Now, how is his arrest tied or connected to with the greater story that you're investigating with regards to child sex trafficking?
Well, basically, our department has started doing investigations into numerous things.
Instead of immediately clarifying that the former mayor's arrest had nothing to do with child sex trafficking, the assistant police chief went on and on about the connection he sees between that issue and those involved in real estate development. I showed the interview to City Commissioner David Gregory.
So he ties the investigation of the former mayor into child sex trafficking.
That's unbelievable, Phil. I've known Tim Lassiter for years.
Does it make sense to you that a building inspection controversy would have anything to do with child sex trafficking?
No, sir, it would not. And I'm getting very tired of our city name being dragged through the mud since Sean Taylor showed up here.
Taylor eventually got back to the question.
And I'm not saying that the former mayor is involved in sex trafficking by any means.
But he said the words. That indicates probably an indication that he wants people to believe that. We're going to discuss this in an open meeting. That's what I want to do. You want a circus?
Gregory and Commissioner Christina Template have asked for a special meeting of the City Commission to review Taylor's hiring. Asked about that request, the assistant police chief had new accusations.
There's 2 of the city commissioners who are under investigation for criminal acts. What they have done is they've called for a special meeting.
He says you're under criminal investigation.
Yes, he did say that. Okay. All I can say is go for it.
Gregory's request for a special meeting follows a News Channel 5 investigation that revealed
Something this guy's doing, much like Linda, is trying to get agents out of office and off of cases. This is something, today's just an introduction. I think we should go over all the news broadcasts about this with a fine-tooth comb. There is so much to this. Banks being connected, that bothers me. Real pedos being lured to gas stations, but then charges not sticking, even though it happened because people ruined the investigation. Other people involved. I think this guy's in a picture of some other shit that's going on. I just want to make sure I go over all of this. But today I'm just going to show the earliest news clips from a year ago that I could find. And then we're going to work our way up because I think this is important to Tennessee. I don't understand. Like, I'm not saying his conspiracy theories are correct. Okay? I don't think he should be attacking people, but he's making claims of money laundering going through these banks. Is it something we should listen to? What's his proof? It seems this news station has debunked the shit out of him. However, is it something that can happen in different ways? Could it be that he's laundering the money, maybe, with a group of QAnon motherfuckers and making a spectacle? They raided the police department, shut it down to raid it. Like, it's a lot of shit. We'll watch that video after this one.
Taylor's bizarre conspiracy theories, where he imagines connections between a whole range of public officials and all sorts of heinous crimes.
Do you care to name who this media personality is that's trying to create this offense against you?
His name's Phil Williams, News Channel 5, Nashville.
To plead his case, Taylor turned to one of his podcaster buddies, the anti-Semitic QAnon conspiracy theorist Scott McKay, who himself has voiced some wacky ideas. For example,
Mars has been colonized since after World War II. There are millions of Americans that live on Mars.
Really?
Because, yeah.
And McKay had his own theories about my investigation.
Typically, when these people are trying to run interference on these kind of trafficking operations, the natural inclination is to believe they're probably a pedophile themselves. And I'm not alleging anything. I'm just saying, why would somebody try to stop your kind of work? It's pretty suspicious to me.
Hi, Linda. You don't want Summer Wells' TBI agent on her case because of something he did in 2005, even though he's had a million other cases between then and Summer's case, but you choose Summer's case to get your ass involved. Per TM's fake Fed video out of your own damn mouth. Are you listening to this? Why would anybody ever want to take an agent off of a missing child's case? In my opinion, this has similarities to what's going on in Summer's case. It's concerning to me, especially when you add people like Music City Mom and a lot of people from that area that have been playing a lot of fucking games in Summer's case. And now I like Ryan Upchurch, but something happened with him in Summer's case too, because he took that reward away. And I don't quite understand why. You also get this conspiracy theorist, or no, the one When Evil Exists show saying there's lots of high priority people going to be arrested. But you're also going to hear as we go through this man is accusing people like Bush, Clinton. I want you to pay attention. I think I'm going to take, what is today? It's Thursday. I'm going to take at least 3, 4, 5 days to go over all of this with a fine-tooth comb with you, because I want you to hear the crazy conspiracy theories this guy has while they're trying to pull TBI agents out of office, police officers out of office. Like, this is some crazy ass shit going on in the Nashville area of Tennessee.
It is suspicious.
And their retaliation would be to call you names or call you pedophiles or some ungodly thing as that. It's humiliating. And I want it gone. I want it out of our city, Mr. Williams.
David Gregory says with Sean Taylor seemingly determined to take on his political enemies, some Millersville residents fear what might come next.
They're afraid now of the police department. They're afraid to be stopped. And they even mentioned they're afraid for them to come to their house.
Because of Sean Taylor?
Because of Sean Taylor.
David Gregory says he's hoping that some authority will intervene, whether it's the TBI or the Tennessee Attorney General, to sort through the mess that Millersville has become. Phil Williams, News Channel 5 Investigates.
Phil, thank you.
My next video is actually the next video on the list here.
Haven't covered tonight exactly what TBI agents are seeking to find in their raids of Millersville police. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tracy Cornett.
I'm Lauren Lowry. Today, special agents searched both the Millersville Police Department and the home of the city's assistant police chief.
Our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley, obtained the search warrants connected to these raids. So, Jeremy, what do they tell us?
Well, they tell us a lot. As we first told you on News 4 at 4, the TBI is seeking evidence for 3 alleged crimes. But we also know they are seeking any information that the police department has on the people and businesses WSMV4 has been investigating for a year and a half now. Tonight, 2 TBI raids on 1 police department. The first at Millersville's police headquarters itself. Agents seen walking in and out of the building. The other at the White House home of Sean Taylor, Millersville's assistant police chief. According to 2 search warrants served at the police headquarters and obtained by WSMV4 Investigates, TBI agents are looking for evidence in connection to 3 alleged crimes: official misconduct, aggravated perjury, essentially lying under oath, and official oppression, when a public figure abuses his power towards a person. One of the search warrants includes the names of people and businesses at the center of our thin blurred line investigation and other alleged misconduct in the city. The warrant for the crime of official misconduct reads that agents want the police department's files, documents, and data on Solarin, a security company, and Solarin's owner, Jack Bird. Our investigation tied the former administration of the police department to Bird's company, which is accused of hiring imposter police officers. They're also seeking the files on F.U. Tommy Long. You may recall, that's the name of the LLC we uncovered owned by the husband of a political opponent of Millersville Mayor Tommy Long. We showed you how a dumpster with the name of the LLC was placed next to the mayor's home. But those are all former problems. The TBI is also focusing on the current police department, specifically Assistant Chief Sean Taylor. Taylor has been criticized for his conspiracy theories he touts on podcasts. The other search warrant requests body camera footage from Taylor and the city's police chief in connection to an operation that led to a man's arrest. In June, City Commissioner David Gregory called for Taylor's resignation.
I don't need a Taylor, Sean Taylor, in this city. I'm asking for his resignation. I want him out of here. He's killing our city. He's dragging our city through the mud.
All right, the search warrant includes all files police have on the mayor, a city commissioner, as well as former and current police officers. They also want all computer drives for the police chief and top police administration. Now, I did speak with the Sumner County District Attorney, Ray Whitley, who says the TBI investigation is clearly into the current police department. But he says if the TBI investigations uncovers wrongdoing by past administrations, that too will be part of the investigation. Tracy?
Jeremy Finley tonight, thank you.
It did come as sort of a shock that they would execute a search warrant.
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, new information about the TBI agents and what they took during a raid yesterday at the Millersville Police Department, as well as the home of the assistant police chief. Tonight, the city attorney going on record with Fox 17 News telling us he has been asking the TBI to investigate his police department for months now. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller's live at TBI headquarters in East Nashville with what she has found, I should say.
Yes, well, the Millersville city attorney says that the city leaders are shocked that the TBI decided to raid the police department. He says that they've been trying to reach out to the agency for months with this requested information for investigation. A dramatic scene as TBI agents raided the Millersville Police Department and Assistant Police Chief Sean Taylor's home. A move that Millersville's city attorney claims wasn't necessary.
In a lot of ways, we're relieved that they finally have come in here to take the files we've been trying to give them for months now.
Bryant Kroll says the city gathered these files and electronic information that the TBI and FBI requested, and says this is all about possible criminal activity committed before January 2024.
They're searching for evidence of, according to one search warrant, searching for evidence of official misconduct, and then it lists many individuals and many different entities, including those that were associated with the illegal commission card issues and the illegal employment issues.
This police misconduct that Kroll is referring to includes the city employing uncertified police officers and the illegal printing of police commission cards. Kroll adds the TBI is also seeking evidence related to election and voter fraud and how that was investigated.
That's concerning. We were trying to get them involved in this, and now they're coming after the police for investigating crimes.
You can see in the search warrant, TBI is looking for several files, records, documents, data, computer, and computer disks for several different individuals. The city is cooperating with TBI for this investigation. This is an open investigation by TBI, and we will keep you updated as we hear more. Reporting live from the TBI, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Troubled Millersville Police Department is now the focus of a TBI investigation. Hi, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston. This development follows an exclusive News Channel 5 investigation that raised questions about a child predator sting run by the department and what appears to be lies told under oath. News Channel 5 Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams uncovered this latest scandal, and Phil, finally someone's paying attention.
Yeah, it sure looks that way. The DA, whose district includes Robertson County, tells me he requested the help from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation after seeing my investigations. Among the issues, he wants to determine whether Millersville police intentionally decided they would lie to a judge.
Basically, we were working with the Vets for Children Rescue and doing some operations with them.
2 months ago, Millersville conspiracy cop Sean Taylor teamed up with a controversial group, Veterans for Child Rescue, that claims to have experience running stings searching for child sex predators. Bad boys, what you gonna do? A cheesy video put out by that group boasted of its success, 1 arrest and a potential 70 additional warrants. But after News Channel 5 investigates obtained secret recordings from that sting, it is now the focus of a probe by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. DA Robert Nash tells me, quote, "I do think what I saw in your reporting is troubling and very serious, and I am doing what I can to get more facts." News Channel 5 legal analyst Nick Leonardo.
That this is the most disturbing video that I've ever been asked to comment on since I've been doing the legal analyst job here at the station.
Oh, yes, you can get my number. Yes.
Those recordings show volunteers from Veterans for Child Rescue like Kim Kelly were the ones posing as the minor, even though state law says it has to be law enforcement. Police arrested one man who had bicycled up I-65 thinking he was going to have sex with a 12-year-old girl. But when the case went to court, this man, Detective Todd Doris, testified that he and a fellow detective were actually the ones doing the chatting.
It does not represent the truth of what really happened during that operation.
You were the one actually chatting with the suspect.
Yes.
Detective Doris declined to comment on whether he might have committed perjury during his testimony, a question that could have consequences for other investigations involving the Millersville Police Department. When former Mayor Tim Lassiter was arrested back in the spring, Doris was the one who signed the warrant. DA Nash tells me, quote, "I can't comment on an open investigation, but I am trying to get to the bottom of it." Now, how long this investigation will take is anybody's guess. Meanwhile, DA Nash tells me that he will personally review the file of that one man charged in the sting to determine what should happen next. And Rory, of course, will be watching.
No doubt about it. Phil, thank you. As the TBI zeroes in on Millersville Police, the department's controversial assistant chief and his allies now going on the attack. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. Not long after the TBI wrapped up its raid yesterday in Millersville, Assistant Chief Sean Taylor turned to some far-right allies to tell his story. News Channel 5 Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams has the latest.
As the TBI was raiding Millersville Police on Wednesday, Sean Taylor sent out a short video to rally his allies. Before the night was up, he and his friends were throwing out some brand new allegations.
We are live with breaking news, the biggest corruption story in America.
In the darkest corners of the internet, where the most bizarre theories of the QAnon conspiracy movement abound.
From the harvesting of organs to adrenochrome. Guys, this is real stuff.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation raids on the Millersville Police Department are fueling new conspiracies.
Sean Taylor, Assistant Chief of Millersville Police Department, just had his home invaded with no warrant.
In fact, the search of Sean Taylor's home was based on a warrant issued by a judge.
Chief Taylor's in the house. Oh, well, it's been a heck of a day today, gentlemen.
On another podcast, the conspiracy-minded assistant police chief presented himself as a victim.
It's very disheartening to know that you have law enforcement at the state level, district attorneys and judges that are executing search warrants on an agency that is trying to take out corruption.
Agents were looking for files that Taylor and Millersville PD may have compiled using sensitive law enforcement data as he pursued his bizarre conspiracy theories, potentially even investigating his political enemies.
And one of the TBI agents that we were looking at, and you know, we believe we've got reasonable suspicion to believe that he's involved because his name keeps popping up. He was one of the ones that helped execute the search warrant today on us.
Taylor has claimed that some of the most powerful political figures in the world are involved in child sex trafficking, and he now claims TBI Director David Roush was put in place by that same cabal.
Sean Taylor investigated and he found
David Roush is involved in Summer's case. Please go look it up. I'll write it down. Linda, I would like to know what TBI agent. There was a lot of back talk about David Roush, I believe, in the Discords. I think I'm going to have to go back and look. I'm wondering if it's the guy I spoke with. I don't remember. It was so long ago and I didn't record it. I can't even remember what the fuck our conversation was about. It's driving me crazy. I just remember talking to a TBI agent really early on in this case about the fake Fed. I called them and made sure that they were aware, but it wasn't a really long conversation and I can't really remember what it was about, but I want to know what TBI agent, Linda, did you want off of Summer's case? I'm curious. Tiffany, Jody, any of you, if you know that, it would be helpful. But I mean, this sounds very familiar to some of the shit going on with the people in Summer's case that are connected to Summer's case with visits to January 6th and the riots here in Washington, D.C. The Vigils, Elsie Justice, Trixie, Chase, Linda. You know how Jody names them? I can name them too. However, my names aren't TM and Benny. What they are people that connect to the Wells and to that church and Linda. Dawn's job. If you look on the map between Millersville and where Lisa Key is, there's an area named after Dawn's employer at the time of Summer's disappearance, just like there is in Ducktown. I don't know if there's any connections. I'm speculating. This is actually a conspiracy too. However, I don't fucking like that there's so many people trying to take TBI agents off of cases like Summer Wells, and especially when you hear it out of Linda's own damn fucking mouth. TT gives me vibes, yo. Her and Linda, their friendship, the more and more I'm watching while I'm going over stuff, it's more fishy to me than anything, than any other friendship in this case. I have a lot of fucking questions. We definitely need to get to TT's text messages, but I do want to take some time out and just go over this whole fucking conundrum of what's going on in Middle West Tennessee, because it's a lot.
Out too much. That's my personal opinion.
Also coming to Taylor's defense, the man behind what appears to have been a botched child predator sting run by a controversial nonprofit group out of Tucson. Following questions raised by News Channel 5 Investigates, Tucson.
And there's Sean Taylor holding the bike seat. He's a part of this. Now I want you to hear who else is a part of this with Sean Taylor.
Following questions raised by News Channel 5 Investigates, agents were looking for evidence that the lead detective in that case may have committed perjury.
So that's inside baseball. That's law enforcement stuff. That's not the business of any news reporter, and that's not my business. So
while the TBI continues its investigation, Sean Taylor and his allies are hoping to rally like-minded people to rise up in opposition to the scrutiny he now faces.
This needs to reach the highest levels. This needs to go national.
And there was some talk in Sean Taylor circles that they do expect some prominent people on the far, far right to soon come to his defense. Of course, we'll be watching. Phil Williams, News Channel 5 Investigates.
Millersville's conspiracy cop now has his...
That wasn't the one. There's a clip where they go through who each person in that picture is. And it's like political figures. Lots of political figures that are involved in this conspiracy theory shit. Including missing kids and backgrounds and RSOs and meeting them, setting up illegal meetings like Ernie does. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to cut this a little short because I'm hot. And I want to come live tonight and go over more of this. I think I'm just really going to pound on this till we get through, because there's a lot that goes into this, and there's a lot of news clips, and it's like a little more than a year of shit that this Channel 5 has been sharing, and there are many podcasts with this man on it, and there are other people covering it. What I'm trying to do is see, is there a connection to that religion shit that's trying to move in at the same damn time? That's concerning to me. And it's strange. And the land sales that are going on in the bank transactions. This guy was trying to get in the shit to look up bank transactions, Sean Williams, in a system that people aren't supposed to be able to look up into. Like, it's just a lot. He really was like diving into like federal agent or top cop type shit and doing shit he's not supposed to be fucking doing. However, there is corruption being pulled out in the area, but a lot of his shit's being debunked. So it's really confusing. But when you add all these people from that area, Sebastian's not far from there, I don't think we'll map it all out. There's some crazy shit going on over there, in my opinion. And it shows you how TBI's operated and how Tennessee's operated. And I think it's important to go over, especially when it's such a big thing concerning the TBI who's taking care of Summers' case. And to me, it looks reminiscent of some things in Summers' case. So it's intriguing to me. I hope you guys will stick around while I cover this the next few days. I think it's important. But all right, I'm going to head off a little bit early. It's hot. Nobody's here. It's quiet. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do, but I'm getting Nancy sitting here. I feel like I got to stretch my legs. But I'm going to come back, and maybe I'll come back early, a little earlier since I'm ending early. All right, little Dev, thank you. And I will show different things in Summers' case while we're doing this too. Like, I'm going to look for things. I just think this is really important because it shows the politics of Tennessee with the TBI, you know? And I don't agree with trying to remove TBI agents from cases like Summers. Was this going on in Sebastian's too? I'm really curious now. It's scary that we live in a world where corrupt police officers can go into an office and just do all kinds of illegal shit to get people's information and cause harm. But at the same time, like, is it worth busting these like, there are different procedures they could have made. Is there a way the TBI could say how people can help? Like, don't go approach them, don't meet them, but call the TBI and let them fix that up. Like, you're going way too far in these cases. And it's causing confusion and charges not to be pressed. That RSO walked. That's disgusting. Because laws weren't abided. That's hindrance of cases. It's reminiscent of what's going on in Summers' case, in my opinion. Yep, little Dev. All right, guys. I'll see you all later tonight. Bye, Helen. Peace and love to all of you. I hope you enjoyed this and you'll join me for more about this. And I got some things I wrote down. I'm going to try to get as many looked up as I can between now and then. I really feel like I got to stretch my legs and whatever. All right, guys, I'll see you. It's 3:45. I'm going to say like 8 tonight. Okay. Peace and love. Bye.